So good morning, everybody, and good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Alok Pant. I'm CEO of Unwired based in Houston, Texas. I want to welcome all of you to our webinar, and thank you for joining. We are going to get started here. So before we go to dive into the webinar, just a couple of housekeeping notes. One, you will see a Q&A box that you can use to type in your questions, and we will answer them at the end of the 30 minutes. And we will have a Q&A session then. Also, we're offering a special offer to all webinar attendees. If you find the information useful, if you want to discuss a free proof of concept, we are happy to, conduct one for you so that you can actually visualize how digital or mobile EM can help you. Or we are also offering you a 30 minutes of free consultation if you want to explore the alternatives you have, and there are choices you have for mobilizing SAP plant maintenance or EAM. Happy to share with you the alternatives, how you can go about it, and help make a business case for you to get this project approved. All right, okay. Let me introduce our main speaker today. Our main speaker today is Praveen Calais. He is our Vice President of Products. Before Unwired, Praveen was working at SAP, where he developed several products, including mobility products. He has delivered projects related to SAP plant maintenance, mobilizing this across the globe in US, in Canada, in Europe, and in also Australia, New Zealand. He has a rich experience in business processes, understanding ERP processes, especially SAP, and even more so around enhancing plant operations, field service with integration with backend systems, especially SAP. Let's have a quick look at the agenda. We're going to briefly talk about the business case for mobilizing asset management. We'll give you a very quick overview of our suite of apps for mobile SAP EM. We want to keep the product information minimum, but really discuss more the customer case studies. And I think we have 5 of them here. We will share the deck with you. So we will not go through all these slides in detail, but just give you a quickly glance through these slides, focus on the case studies, the live demo, and really answer your questions. All right. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes here to just give you a quick overview of Unwired and our applications. So we are a Houston, Texas headquartered company. Customers are all across the globe. We are a certified SAP partner and working a lot of these SAP EM projects. We have got our fair share of recognition, including by Gartner in 2015 and again in 2019 for our applications. We were recertified by SAP in earlier this year for certification with SAP S/4HANA. We have certifications with SAP ECC also. So just want to highlight that. Here's a quick look at our customers. So our focus is really industrial. As you can see, it's all about chemicals, manufacturing, oil and gas, utilities. That's where our core customers for mobile asset management are. This is the question that always comes up because there are alternatives you have. What are our key differentiators? And I want to spend about maybe a minute on this. One of the big differentiators of us is happy reference customers. And I think that's the most important metric that we measure ourselves on. We also do a lot of remote implementations. So especially in the COVID era, we've delivered projects in US and Canada and other geographies remotely. When I say remote, it's actually 100% remote. That's a strong differentiator for us, starting from the design phase to the implementation to post go live. We are very strong in integration. You can deploy on-premise or cloud. One of our non-technical differentiators, the customers tell us, is we are very flexible and we are very responsive. We listen to you and we tailor solutions to you. We have a starting point, but then we tailor the solution to you. And one of the recent innovations we have is we've integrated a digital forms application with work orders and permits to really enable electronic work packages. So those are some of our differentiators. In terms of the business benefits, I think the attendees probably know this very well. And so I will not dwell on it. But again, it's all about increasing operational excellence, helping you run the product, the plant, more so that the revenues are more. Safety and compliance cannot be emphasized enough. So I think those are some of the benefits you get. And also, reducing the carbon footprint. The more mobile you are, the less the need to print the work packages. Of course, once you have all the data digital, you get better insights. So I think all of that really helps build the business case for mobility. And here's a quick overview of our apps for mobile SAP EAM. So, we have the work orders, the operator rounds, safety work permits, and inventory management, right, for spare parts. You bring these four together, that becomes a comprehensive, EAM suite. And then, of course, we have the planning and scheduling application, the master data management, and the digital forms, safety observations, near misses, and all that. So we have all that. Here's another look at the EAM again. So we talked about this. We are device agnostic, so you can deploy it on the web or Windows, iOS, Android. All these applications are offline capable. You can do attachments and maps and all that. And Praveen can talk a little bit more about that. So I think with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Praveen, who will take you to, describe to you the process that we have in our standard apps, the case studies, and then do a quick demo. So Praveen, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Alok, for that introduction. And please let me know when you start seeing my screen.
Yeah, I'm seeing it here.
Okay, wonderful. So like Alok was mentioning, different companies across industry sectors use SAP for their maintenance activities. Even though they all use SAP, the way they use SAP varies from one company to another. Some companies use SAP in its vanilla configuration, while certain other companies customize it to a large extent. They may have integrations to other third-party systems, or they may have a lot of homegrown systems that they want an integration to. Irrespective of how customers or companies use their SAP EAM, there is one basic minimum process that we can map all these maintenance processes to, and that is what we call the Unwired Mobile EM process. So what is exactly the Unwide EM mobile process, right? So any inspection or a plant maintenance which a company schedules is mapped typically to a work order in SAP. These work orders would then be assigned to a work center, a mechanic or an electrician, or it could be assigned to specific individuals, which determine if these orders get downloaded to a user's device or not, right? So once the user has all these work orders downloaded to his mobile device, they can review the inspections or the maintenance tasks. If it's generically assigned, they can say, okay, I want to accept this, or maybe pass it to somebody else who might pick it up. And once they have accepted the work order for execution on their mobile device, they would then go about executing the job itself in the field. So some of the companies that we've seen would require the unlocking of the work order based on the GPS coordinates, or they might require the inspections to be unlocked using scanning using a RFID tag or a QR code, right? So only when you have unlocked the work order will you actually be able to execute the inspection or the maintenance activity itself. So the activity itself would consist of taking pictures, taking measurement readings, maybe looking at the historical trends of some of these measurements to just get a view of how the equipment has been functioning in the field. So all those insights will be available to the user from the ease of his mobile device. And if the technician was to find a problem in the field, they would be able to take a picture, create a notification, and then send this information to their SAP system in real time, which would then be reviewed by a maintenance supervisor, who would then determine if it needs to be converted into a repair order, which would then again get routed to a maintenance technician, who would then execute the repair in the field itself. So this is the typical the EM process, which any company would be able to map it into their maintenance processes. Yeah. So what we've done is we have identified two roles out here. One is the supervisor, who initiates the maintenance, and the technician who actually does the maintenance in the field. So this slide just talks about what exactly the supervisor does, which is to review the notification, create a work order, release the job for execution in the field, assign the technicians or the work centers who would then pick it up to execute it in the field. The supervisor would also have the ability to review all the jobs that have been performed through supervisor dashboards and alerts, and all of that would be available on this role. On the other side, the technicians themselves who execute the job in the field, they would, they would typically view these inspection orders on a map. They would issue materials from the warehouse if there are some repairs to be conducted. And then they would take pictures and then attach it against the work orders as a proof of job completed, take sign-off signatures from approvers as a proof of job completed, and finally do a technical completion of the work order to indicate that the job has been successfully completed in the field. So this is typically, the two different roles that we would associate for execution on the mobile device. So of all the solutions that, Alok talked about earlier, so we'll look at some of the solutions for today's demo. And one of them would be the Unwired Operator rounds. The operator rounds allows you to allows operator to get a list of equipment and walk around the plant on a daily, weekly, or a monthly basis, capturing some KPIs for that particular equipment. The KPIs could be temperatures, vibration information, and all those KPIs which are used to monitor the health of an equipment over an ongoing basis in the plant itself. And if there is any discrepancy that the user notices, that it could result in the creation of a notification automatically in SAP, or the user could explicitly create a notification on the mobile device, which will then be reviewed by the supervisor in the SAP system itself. So this is the Unwired Operator rounds, and we will see a demo of what this looks like in the live demo itself. Then we have the work orders component of the EAM product, which basically involves the work order processing on the mobile device. Here we have the ability to access all the jobs assigned to the user, all the equipment that need to be inspected, all the documents which are available for that equipment. It could be maintenance manuals, it could be spare parts manuals, operations manual. All these documents would need to be available offline for the user, because the efficiency of a user in the field is as good as the information that he has to execute his job in the field. So as long as you are enabling the user with all that information, he's more productive in the field. So the work order application allows the users to book times spent working on tasks, allows them to automatically do a material confirmation in the field, and basically do all of these activities in real time, as well as in a completely offline mode when there is no connectivity in the field. Then we also have the Unwired Inventory Manager. So this Unwired Inventory Manager is something which allows the technicians to look up stock information in the warehouse, create purchase requisitions for depleted stock, do inventory move, do cycle counting in the warehouse, goods issue returns, and all of these warehouse kind of processes is something which can be done using the Unwired Inventory Manager. And Unwired Work Permits. So one thing which Alok mentioned earlier was the reliance that people have on the paper which is being printed even today, right? Despite SAP providing you the data digitally for you to execute your jobs, most of the specific processes which companies would like to perform, unfortunately, cannot be mapped to an SAP work order. So what happens is a lot of people end up creating, Word documents or PDF documents, which which consist of their custom processes, which will be printed along with the work order itself, which the technicians would then go into the field and then fill out while executing their jobs. And these fill papers would be then submitted back and then associated with the work order. And it's basically redundant work wherein you have a data entry operator who needs to file in all these documents. And the problem with this is you don't have the ability to generate any meaningful analysis, right? Because it's all scanned documents. So the Unwired work permits allows you to digitize all your paper-based processes and integrate it seamlessly into your work order processing itself. So this is something which I will show to you during the demo in the next few minutes. Yeah, so the work permit itself has integration with SAP and a lot of third-party systems. So we'll come to that a little later. So these screenshots just describe what the work permit might look like. And of course, these work permits vary from company to company. And so the Unwired Turbo Forms. So Unwired Turbo Forms is our low-code platform, which is what is used to convert all your paper-based processes into digital representations. These forms are easily designable using a forms drag and drop builder. These forms can be used offline. They can connect to multiple data sources. They allow you to capture signatures. Yeah, we offer many flexible deployment options for this solution as well. So I will show this briefly to you in the demo as well. Quickly coming to some of the customer case studies, I won't take too much time because I don't think we'll have much time for demo. But just highlighting, so one of our customers, Kaneka, they use the Unwired solution on the iPads, and they have integration with SharePoint, and they use barcode, QR code scanners, and integrate with the PM processes. And then we have study for a manufacturing company in Europe, where they have used the application in 7 to 8 different languages. So
Praveen, I think we'll share these slides so you can just scroll through them and let's jump to the demo. I think that would be of interest to people. We'll share these slides.
We'll share the slides with you going forward. So let's come to the live demo. So what I'll do is I'll start sharing my mobile device, and then let me know when you start seeing that.
I see it now.
Okay. So what you're seeing on my screen right now is the Unwide EM application. So the Unwide EM application is a role-based application that gives access to the various components of the SAP plant maintenance module. So like you see on your screen, we have different tiles: rounds, orders, notifications, the spare parts lookup, and then we have the complete access to the technical object hierarchy, and also the digital representation of your paper-based processes as forms. So let's quickly start with the rounds process. So some of the typically companies, what they do is they use the SAP work order, and they have a list of all the equipment in the object list, and all these equipment would have some measuring points which the operators would walk around in the field on a daily, weekly, or a monthly basis, and then start capturing this information. So here you see that the flow rate for a pump, the previous value is 2 meter cube per second. So I'm going to say it's 3 now, and I'm going to save it. And then, so we have previous value is 3, and then we're going to say 4. We're going to save it. And then once it's done, you see that the flag here changes, indicating that you have made some changes to this particular equipment. You've taken some readings. Similarly, you can do the readings for all the other documents, measuring points as well. Okay, so I'm just going to say 1. Okay, so we have all these validations that you see that are happening. And so the user can complete all these measurement readings. And as he completes all those readings, you see that it starts disappearing from your list. This is very important because in a utilities company, you may have about 3,000 to 4,000 equipment that you're working with. And then you may need the ability to quickly eliminate the ones that have already been completed. And then let's say you save all of these readings. And then once you're done, you have the flexibility of doing a technical completion. You hit that button there, complete the work order, you say yes. And when you come back here, you have the submit button, which allows you to complete the daily pump inspection that you have done, right? So when I hit the submit button, So this update gets queued to the SAP system in the background. And whenever there is a connectivity, it would get submitted. And once the response is available, the user will be able to see the submission response from SAP. So that is how you would do inspections in the EM solution. The next thing is access to your technical objects in the plant. So typically what happens is when users are working in the field, they may want access to all the documents associated with the functional locations or equipment for offline use. Because once they walk into the field, they may not have connectivity, and all of that information needs to be available for the users on their mobile device. So you're seeing here a list of all the functional locations, and then you have the list of all the equipments. You can get into the details, and then you get the details of the equipment, some of the manufacturer information, general details. If there is a sub-item, you can see that. If there is a BOM associated with the equipment, you can see that. If there is any historical maintenance that has been performed on the equipment, you can see that as well. So you can see that history. We have one maintenance order, which has been completed, and then we have the items associated with that particular notification, which indicates what was the damage, right? So you have this ability to quickly review all the previous maintenance that may have been performed on an equipment. And then not only that, you can also look at the hierarchy of the equipment in the device itself. Also, what you can do is you can look at this attachments icon here. So when you hit the attachments, you see that you have, so you can just download all these documents for use offline. And then when I hit this button here, you see this, it shows you the image associated with this particular equipment. Or if it's a maintenance manual, you can just open it, and then you can just quickly review it on the mobile device. So you have this document which is available for you to use offline. So this download of documents is something which we can do on demand, or we can also do this automatically when you download all the jobs on your mobile device. Then I just talked about the hierarchical view. So you just look at the hierarchy here, and then you see that the complete equipment and the functional location structure is available for the user on the mobile device. The user can navigate through it just like the way you would do it in IH01. And then if you want to get into any equipment detail, just click on it, and then you would go into the equipment detail itself. That's how simple it is. And also the information that you're seeing here is completely customizable because of the form factor. The amount of information that we have here, is customizable. So let's say that the user wants to search for an equipment, and then he just hits the camera here, and let's for argument's sake say that we are using QR barcodes in the field to identify equipment, right? So I'm just going to hit this button here, and then so we see that one equipment gets listed when we do the scanning of the barcode, and I can select that equipment, and then come here and then say create a notification for this particular equipment. And when I do that, the functional location equipment and all of that information gets captured here automatically. I just have to say faulty pump. And the notification type, I can say a maintenance request. Priority can be, let's say, high. And then if I want to enter some additional details, I can do that, and then I say okay. And then it tells me, hey, do you want to attach some pictures for this notification or the problem that you've reported in the field? So I just say yes, and then I just click this, which brings up the camera, and then I'm just going to take a picture. I'm going to save this, right? So once I create this notification, so that notification can be seen in the notification title out here. You can see the faulty pump notification that I've just created, and the submit button is available for me to actually submit this to the SAP system. So just like the way I submitted the inspection order earlier, I can also hit the submit button here, which submits the notification in an asynchronous mode. So whenever there's connectivity, the notification gets pushed to the backend.
Praveen, let me do a quick time check. We have 4 minutes left. What else do you want to show? Any permits or any other form related stuff or work? Yeah, because then we'll open it for Q&A. So 4 more minutes for your main demo.
Yeah, so the next thing is the representation of paper-based forms into digital representations. So in the form style, what you're seeing here is a list of some of the paper-based forms that we have digitized and what those forms may look on their mobile device. So this is what some of the forms may look like. And let's say a work permit with all its different sections. This is what it looks like. So let's say you have a work order. So when I'm going into the work order style out here, so I have a lot of work orders that I need to be executing. So let's say I pick this 820329, and then I go to the form style and then say that, look, I need to have a work permit to execute this particular job. So I say, hey, create a work permit. And then I select this work permit and associated with this particular work order. When I choose the work permit, it brings up the form in the editable mode. And I can start, filling in all these fields. I'm just going to enter some information out here. Yes, required checks, and all of this information. So these, the content of the form itself can vary depending upon the industry itself and the business processes that you may have. But this is just to give you a sense of what a form, right? So I'm just going to sign here and capture the signature on the form itself. And you could have multiple people who sign this. Then I'm just going to save this. And then I can say that, I completed this work permit, right? So once this work permit has been completed, then the user can, go ahead and then work on the particular operation itself. For example, let's say he starts working on operation number 10, this button here and says, okay, please start a timer. And then you can see this here running minutes. So I'm beginning to start recording time against this operation. I can do a pause. Let's say if I'm taking a lunch break, I hit the pause button and then it gets paused here. And then again, I can do a play, which again starts recording time. And once I've done all the recording against that operation, I can just do a save. That submits 0.1 of an hour of time spent against that operation. So not only can I do a time confirmation, I can also do material confirmation. So material confirmation, you can see here there was already a material called casings. I already have a reservation. So the use quantity is 0. The required quantity was 2. So if you want to really issue that material, I can say posting quantity is 2, and then I can say okay. So as you can see here, the posting quantity is 0, and I'm going to change it to 2 now, and then it becomes 2, right? So I can also, add more materials or pick it up from the equipment BOM if it's available for me to use on the device. And then once that is done, I can always, go back to the work order and then hit the submit button, right? So when I hit the submit button, then the material confirmation, the time confirmation, the form that I filled on the device and associated with the work order, all of this, gets associated with the work order and then gets submitted to SAP. And once the response is available, I would just do a refresh and, you would see that the response is available. Okay, so if there is any error, I can always go there. So we have an error here saying errors during document number assignment, right? So all of this information is in real time, which the user can have access to, and he can make necessary corrections and then, process his jobs in the field. So
Praveen, you have 1 more minute. Yeah. How do you want to, and then we have some people who have raised hands, but take a minute to maybe wrap it up, or if you want to highlight anything, go ahead.
Yes, I think I have covered most of it. So this is just another screen here, which allows you access to the spare part information in the warehouse and the available stock. You can actually look it up. And all of these information is, 100% searchable, and it's all in real time. So as you can see here. So yeah, I think that's about that. I think I'll leave some time for questions now.
Right.
And yeah.
So I think Deepak had raised his hand. So Sushil, can you unmute Deepak so he can ask his question? Deepak Mandal, right? Yeah. Deepak, are you able to ask your question? Oh, hang on. Maybe I can unmute you. Yeah, go ahead, Deepak.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, first time I seen this one in forms in mobile. That's why I'm just a little bit confused in this. So can you open Praveen forms? Hello.
Forms. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah. Hello. You're able to listen me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So Praveen, can you open that forms?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that forms, I can submit partial also, right? In this.
Yes, definitely. So all the information that you have here, right? So let's say, for example, if you go to the work orders, in the forms out here, you see that the status is in orange, which
Yeah.
means that the form has not yet been completed. So partial submission of forms is allowed because the work generally would be iterative in nature, and you might want to save your work periodically with the server. And also, what happens is in a collaborative process wherein multiple people are working on the same form, you may want multiple people to submit the form, with their sections having been completed. So yes, that's definitely possible.
Oh yeah. That's it.
Okay, and then we have a question from Bassman. So if you can unmute, I think the question is related to headless phone. So go ahead, ask your question, Bassman, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just wondering for devices.
Hey, Praveen, I think you can stop your share screening.
Oh, okay.
Where people operating in the field need to be hands-free, and they can't either they don't have access to a screen, or their screen is too small to make it useful, or there is no screen but they have connectivity. One of the products, like our smart hardhead, doesn't have a screen, but it's got microphones and speakers, and it can do voice activation. Have any of the forms that you have already created, have any of them already been modified to operate autonomously, meaning as soon as the form is opened, maybe it's opened via voice command or a button push, and then it walks the user through what's relevant for that job, maybe based on GPS or other, however the form is identified that needs to be filled out. Has any of that happened yet for any of your customers or for the forms that you made?
So, I mean, forms with that level of intelligence is something which we don't have, but it is something which we are in the process of implementing and then executing. So we are working with some of the smart device manufacturers in making this scenarios possible with our forms solution. And yes, definitely that is something which is in our pipeline going forward.
Okay.
So let me just add to that. So
would that be,
okay, go ahead.
Sorry, just one other follow-up question on that, I apologize. So would it be considered like a customization that you would work as part of services with your customers, or how would that work if somebody needed a special form or they needed that integration? Which parts of the services do you provide and which parts are typically on your customer?
Yeah. So in terms of having these solutions tailored to meet your business processes, right? Like Alok mentioned earlier, every industry works differently, and their business needs might be completely different, right? So we have a starting point, and so we are in a position to tailor this to meet any of your business requirements or needs. So
So
yeah.
Praveen, let me take the question. So Bassman, yeah, so we will work with you. We have a services team and we will work with you to customize that solution. What I was going to add was we have actually implemented our mobile apps on headsets and mobile and wearables, but not but they have screens typically. So we've got these applications running on Apple Watch, for example, and things like that, wearables, but not on non-screen devices as yet. Okay.
So
any other questions?
So for devices, like I said, Apple Watch, something where you can see what's going on, but you can't necessarily take action. The activation is for the button pushes and everything. That's all voice commands for those types of devices already.
Yes. So basically, if you have a helmet which has a screen, we can definitely do voice activation, as well as the forms can be served or can be worked upon the screen on the helmet, and data can be exchanged with the backend systems. And we can also do voice commands. Yeah, you can say enter. You can say 5 psi, for example. You don't have to type it in necessarily. So that the voice input can be taken.
Okay, I think we can take some questions, some more work offline, just so we can
Sure.
identify our
Yeah.
use case a little better. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Do we have any other questions on chat, or anybody wants to raise their hand?
Hi, hello, good morning. I have a question.
Go ahead.
The history of the maintenance, do you read or the app read directly from SAP or another server?
So the application that I'm demonstrating right now, Manuel, is based on ACP plant maintenance, and the historical information that you see there is of all the notifications and orders which have been completed on that particular equipment. You can configure how much of history you need to really bring down on the mobile device, whether it's the last 5 maintenance activities or in the last 3 months. So that is something which is configurable. And apart from that, we also have the ability to integrate with third-party systems, wherein you don't have to be really tied to your SAP systems alone, because some of the customers have homegrown systems which they would like to bring data from. So we not only bring information from SAP, but we bring information from various other systems, and we provide a unified view for the user for consumption on his mobile device. That's definitely possible.
Okay, in this case, the photos, the abnormalities or solution about the maintenance, there are saved in the SAP or in another server?
This is in SAP. So this
Okay.
is in SAP, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Emmanuel. Any other questions?
Yes. Harshad has raised his hand. Harshad, go ahead.
Yeah, hello, this is Suresh.
Yeah, go ahead, Suresh.
Yeah, actually, what we are discussing, that application open in mobile platform, right? So my question is, if we can use this application parallelly in other platform also, like iPad and as well as mobile phone, then how the synchronization will happen from one device to another device? So it's a kind of, so we can use parallelly, right, in other devices also. So how the background version, maybe the taking the data on how it maintains in the server side or SAP?
Okay. So what happens really here is, we have the digital enterprise platform, which is our mobile platform, which powers all our mobile applications, be it the EAM solution, be it the inventory applications or the digital forms application. So we have a very robust, infrastructure, which allows data synchronization, allows people to work offline in the field, and then whenever there's connectivity, so we have mechanisms which says that the client wins or the server wins. So all of these configurations is something which the users can choose when they deploy the solution in their landscapes. And the conflict resolution is something which comes built into the digital enterprise platform from Unwired.
And this platform is certified by SAP for integration with, of course, ECC and S/4HANA. So yes, so powering all this is the Unwired digital platform, which is that intelligent platform that takes care of auto sync, conflict resolution, and all that.
Yeah, and just adding to Emmanuel's question earlier. So the question was, is this really integrating with SAP? So I just want to show you the SAP screen, Manuel. So the notification that I created on my mobile device, right? So this is the notification 2821. And then I'm just going into this notification. And the one that I created was the faulty pump for this equipment. And if I go and look at the attachment list out here, so that is the pump that I just created on 24th March, right? Which is today. And this is the screenshot that I took from my mobile phone. So this is an application with direct integration to SAP. So I hope that clarifies your question.
Okay. Thanks, Praveen. Any other questions? Any other hands raised? Harsha, did you have a question? I think you can ask your question. Well, okay. I think we are past our time here, so I'll give people maybe 30 more seconds. If anybody has a burning question, please feel free to send it in chat or raise your hands. We are here. So I guess there is a question about map integration. Praveen, maybe you can spend 30 seconds. We do provide a map view to the work order app, right?
Yes, that is true. So the map integration is something which is again, very, industry specific. For example, in the utility space, typically the users would like to use a map-based navigation. Let's say, for example, you have these electricity poles which run for miles together on a highway, right? So the users, the technicians are traveling on the road would like to use a map-based navigation to locate the equipment that needs to be inspected, the orders that need to be executed. So yes, so based on the use case, if there is a need to have a map-based navigation or a map integration, we would definitely make that possible. So map integration, we also have two options for customers to choose from. We integrate with both Google Maps as well as S3. So the customers are free to choose, any map-based, technology that they want to use for their work order processes.
Great. So before we end, I just want to remind everybody we are offering a free proof of concept, right? And also 30 minutes of free consultation to help you discover your alternatives so you can make the best choices. We will send a copy of the slides to everybody who registered and also a link to the recording of the webinar. So with that, we will like to end the webinar and thank you again for joining in. Please email us if you have any other questions and look out for some information we'll be sending out. Thank you for your time today. Bye-bye.